Hello, good afternoon. My name is Emmanuel Baez, and today I'll be teaching Francis, a novice learner, Ms. Francis over here,
Hello.
how to perform the barbell back squat. Our main objective today is to establish a safe, repeatable movement pattern using two core motor learning concepts. The first core concept is going to be freezing the degree of freedom, and the second is going to be the knowledge of performance. By the end of this session, the learner will progress from a rigid, simplified movement to a more fluid, multi-joint execution. Hi Francis, how are you doing today?
I'm good and you?
Good, good. So today we're gonna go over how to learn how to do a proper squat. Okay? So it is a complex move involving your hips, your knees, and your ankles, all working together at once. But don't worry about the way today. Today we're only gonna focus on the how. Okay? The first concept that we're going to cover today is going to be freezing the degree of freedom. So according to Nikolai Bernstein, a novice learner is often overwhelmed by too many degrees of freedom or moving parts in a skill. To help Francis today, I will first instruct her to freeze certain joints. We will simplify the squat into a hinge, and then we will release the joints one by one to create the full concept. All right, Francis. So here's how we're going to start today. So we're going to simplify things. But what I want you to do first is I want you to keep your knees and ankles almost completely still as we go through these different motions.
Got it.
Don't let them bend yet, okay? So what I want you to do is only move at your hip, nothing else. Imagine there's a wall behind you and you're trying to touch the wall with your glutes, keeping everything else stiff, okay? So I'm just going to give you a quick example. You're going to keep your knees and your ankles stiff, only moving your hips. Imagine you're going to try to touch that wall, right? Just touching that wall. Just hinging at the hips. That's all you're going to do. Avoiding movement in the other joints. Okay? So just go ahead and give me a couple of repetitions of that.
Okay.
Good. So by freezing the knees and the ankles, Francis only has 1 degree of freedom to change, just her hips, right? Now we're gonna start releasing the other joints to add more to that movement. So Francis, great job so far.
Thank you.
Now keeping that hip movement, I want you to release your knees. As your hips go back, let your knees bend naturally. Keep your ankles stiff for now, right? And keep the weight on your heels. Okay?
Okay.
So just to give you a quick example. So we started doing the hinging motion, right? Just with the hips. Now I want you to bend your knees, right? So bend, allow them to bend naturally, right? Keeping your ankles stiff for the whole time. Okay? Just like that.
Got
Okay?
it.
Give me a couple reps. Okay, good. Now, finally, we're gonna release the ankles, okay? So we're gonna allow your shins to tilt forward slightly as you descend, right? And this is gonna unfreeze the entire shin. Now you're gonna be able to move your hips, your knees, and your ankles, right? So we're gonna try to do a full fluid repetition. So it's gonna look something like this, right? So we have the hips, the knees, and the ankles, right? Hips back, allow knees to bend, and allow your shins to tilt forward, okay? So we keep doing that motion. So we're gonna be able to do full squat movement.
Okay.
Okay? Until you try. Okay. Allow your shins to tilt forward. Okay. Good. So now we're gonna go into the next concept. Okay, working with all this together. So now that Francis is using all of her joints, we move into the associative stage. I will now use an augmented feedback, specifically the knowledge of performance. So I would not just tell her if she succeeded, which is a knowledge of result. I will give her specific information about the quality of her movement. So Francis, that looked very good.
Thank you.
But let's try to refine it a little bit more. So I noticed as you were doing your squat, your knees started caving inward as you were standing up in the last couple of repetitions. Right? So that's gonna be a knowledge of performance. Your knees tracking goes off. So what I want you to do this time, I want you to focus on an external cue. Imagine there's a piece of paper under your feet, right? And as you stand up, you're gonna try to tear that paper apart with your feet. This will keep your knees pushing outward. Now, before you do that, I want you to understand the concept of the tripod foot, right? So I want you to put pressure, your big toe, your pinky, and your heel, right? Your feet, and just put that pressure. Imagine there's a paper, and as you grab that paper with your feet, you just try to rip it apart, right? And that's gonna create outward pressure in your knees, right? There you go. Perfect. So what I want you to do is hold that as you're doing the full squat motion, right? So again, applying your hip, your knees, and your ankles, and also doing the tripod feet and ripping the paper apart as you do that full squat motion. Okay, so let's go ahead and try it. All right, give me a couple reps. Okay, good. Good. So how did that feel compared to the last
It
time
felt
you did?
very stable on the legs and on the feet.
Okay, good, good. So now that you got the sense of how to utilize all your joints throughout that movement, do you feel comfortable to do a repetition with the barbell? No weights, just the barbell.
Sure.
Okay, so let's go ahead and turn around. Let's do a repetition with the barbell, just applying everything that you learned so far here. Okay, take a couple steps back. Okay, remember, pushing the hips back, try to touch the wall, let your knees bend naturally, and try to rip that paper apart with your feet as you go down. All right, give me a couple repetitions on that. Okay, good. Okay. Great, so how did that feel?
It felt very different and very stable as what I used to use my other methods.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So, by asking Frances to describe her feelings today, I am encouraging her to use her proprioception. So that internal sense of joint positioning to create a reference of correctness in her long-term memory. Frances, excellent work today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we went from a very stiff frozen movement to a coordinated squat by focusing on how your joints work together and using specific cues to fix your knee position. Okay? So, in summary, we apply Bernstein's degree of freedom theory today to simplify early learning, and we use the knowledge of performance to refine the motor program. This approach reduced cognitive load and accelerated the transition from a novice to an intermediate level of motor control. Thank you all for your time. This concludes my presentation. Thank you, Frances.
Thank you.